Willie Nelson. The outlaw king, the one who couldn't live within the system and who found his greatest success when he left it behind.
Whatever Willie's been doing, he's been doing what he wanted to do and doing it right, because, boy, he's been around longer than dirt.
Going places that I've never been.
I think he's the original don't give a shit guy. I mean, you know, you take him as he is. If you don't like it, tough.
There was a story that he smoked a joint on the roof of the White House when Carter was in the White House and he was visiting.
There was no truth to that rumor that you smoked a special cigarette on the roof then.
Well, I'm afraid I've forgotten all about that. That was a long time ago.
He smoked more than Bob Marley, this guy.
Well, Willie's he's a genius.
He's really gotten in touch with my generation and even the generation that's come after me.
He's number one, and we're all pecking around down there, way down below somewhere else.
The world got its first look at Willie Nelson back in 1961 when he fetched up in Nashville from Texas, trying to sell a few songs.
Probably written, I'd say, 5 or 6 of the most classic country songs ever written.
Crazy for feeling so lonely.
Can you imagine how it must feel to have written Crazy?
People really know his music, but don't know he's written them. I love that he's kind of back in the background on that.
Crazy for feeling so blue.
The original title of that was Stupid, but I think the word crazy was a little better.
In the best country tradition, of course, Willie was drawing his inspiration from his life, and particularly from his volatile relationship with his first wife, Martha.
Willie came home drunk one night, just acting up, and he lay down on the bed, and she wrapped the sheet around him, sewed it up, and whipped him with the broom. He probably needed it.
Sure enough, we hadn't been there 5 minutes, and they got in a damn fight. She's throwing everything from behind the bars.
Willie ducked, and it caught Hank right here on the chin.
I got a scar right there, all the way down to here. That's why this beard is here, on account of Martha.
But a wife who wouldn't take any nonsense wasn't Willie's only hang-up. He really wanted to be a singer. Just one teeny problem.
Deep within my heart lies a melody, a song of old San Antonio, where in dreams I live with a memory.
When you see films of his early work, he's a little guy in mohair suit with short hair and no beard or anything, and just trying his best.
People didn't actually take him that seriously as a singer.
He would back phrase, he'd behind the beat, then he'd phrase in front of the beat.
Willie Nelson was not having a great time in Nashville.
In all your splendor knows only my heart. Call back my rose of San Antonio.
Willie became increasingly unhappy in Nashville and decided to head west to Austin, Texas, where a man could do what a man's got to do. He was ready to let it all hang out.
Having left Nashville, he didn't have to wear a coat and tie and could kind of do things the way he wanted to do.
Shotgun Willie sits around in his underwear.
And he starts wearing tennis shoes and a bandana around his head.
Started growing the hair long.
Mainly because I hated haircuts, and they hurt.
And started admitting that he liked the weed.
Well, you can't make a record if you ain't got nothing to say.
The new Willie began to bring rock and folk music into his songs and soon discovered that a big mix of music also attracted a wide range of people.
He brought a rough edge, you know, he was kind of transforming all these kind of, bringing some of those rock and rollers and hippies and kind of bringing them all together.
Willie had such a following in Texas alone that it was just like Elvis walking into a bar.
By 1973, Willie was playing to over 50,000 people at his annual 4th of July picnic.
He said, "You're not going to believe what's going on." He said, "I've got preachers next to bootleggers and hippies and old people and churchgoers, and they're all sitting side by side at my shows."
I was getting tired of going to 2 different places to play for them. I wanted them all to get in one building.
It was a big success, a very big success. First time it had ever been put on in 1973. The early picnics were pretty wild.
For the first time, country music becomes hip because of Willie. Young people begin to consume country music.
With that new audience came a new record. In 1975, Willie made the concept album Red-Headed Stranger. It was like nothing country audiences had heard before.
Blue eyes crying in the rain.
was really raw and kind of ragged and empty and sparse.
Turns it in, the record company almost laughs him out of its office because it doesn't sound like anything else.
It's hard to sit in an office and be surrounded with a lot of people who are telling you what you want to hear and really know what's happening out on the street.
And only memories remain.
All the people who said that he'd never be a singer were saying, God, what a wonderful singer. You know, he's like the father of our country or something.
Blue eyes crying in the rain.
The new sound on Red-Headed Stranger ushered in a new style of country music, the outlaw movement. Artists like Waylon Jennings, Jesse Coulter and Tom Paul Glaser joined Willie in pushing the conservative Nashville sound aside. The Outlaws were rougher, rawer and a lot more real, and their record was the first country album to sell over 1 million copies.
Whiskey River, take my mind. Don't let the memory talk to me.
If we had waited until the record company says, okay, you can sing together, we would have never sung together.
The thing that we had in common probably was that we wanted to go our own way and speak our own words.
Whiskey River, take my mind.
We used to do all our business over a pinball machine. We'd sign our contracts on the glass on top. We vowed we weren't going to talk business any more than 2 minutes a day. That's what we did.
They brought the country back. They brought the black hats back into country music. And the threat, and that swampy noise, you know. And I just couldn't have been happier.
Whiskey River, take my mind.
The winner is Wanted, the Outlaws.
On behalf of Minnow Whalen, Jesse and Tom Paul, thank y'all very much.
So you've redefined country music, changed the face of the country audience and sold a ton of records in the process. The obvious thing to do would be to keep on keeping on, right? Wrong. How about an album of standards then?
Blue skies, smiling clean. Nothing but blue skies, blue I see.
When Willie went in with Stardust, everybody thought he'd done plumb gone crazy. No, he wasn't crazy. He knew what he was doing. Who ever heard tell of a record staying on the charts 10 years? Stardust did.
Well, I never saw the sun shining so bright, never saw things going so bright.
He's done things that have crossed so far beyond country music. He's done just off-the-wall things like the duet with Julio Iglesias.
To all the girls we've loved before.
I don't think he ever put together a record thinking, well, this is what radio wants to hear. He'll record what he wants to play or what he thinks his fans, you know, would be interested in hearing.
We're glad they came along. We dedicate this song to all the girls we've loved before.
A superstar around the world, and everything was rosy for Willie. Well, except for the $16 million bill that the taxman slapped on him in 1990.
Nelson is trying to pay off a $16 million debt to the IRS. Some of his property has already gone at auction.
Willie couldn't even believe it. He was just a little, you know, guitar player singing some songs. I mean, how could he possibly owe this much money?
We had just unloaded the trucks and put everything in the studio, and the next day the IRS came in and put a padlock on the building and took everything.
And they virtually auctioned, you know, everything that he had.
But his reaction to it was very, very easy. He said, I've got my guitar, and that's all I need.
Willie's fans thought he needed slightly more and bought everything back for him.
People just cried and cried down in Texas. And Willie came out of that courthouse, and of course, being Willie, did a free concert on the steps, so.
He wears his celebrity like a comfy pair of shoes. And it's really extraordinary.
He's very simple. He only wants, you know, an inch or two of cash and his guitar called Trigger.
It's bashed a big hole in it over the years, and it sounds like a dream guitar, I think.
Some nights when he's just really rocking out and you see just chips of wood flying from his fingers.
flies first class, then that guitar is entrusted to one person.
When that guitar goes, I think it'll all be over. I mean, that's it.
That's not going to happen anytime soon, though. Next up is a reggae album. And even as you're watching this, Willie's out there on that tour bus somewhere.